All righty. Well, it's 9:01, and I want to welcome everybody to our weekly Touchstone Success Training. And I am excited tonight for our speaker and for our trainer. She is somebody who has been who I've known now for a couple of years, not that long. I think it's been about 3 years. Is that right, Miss Lisa? About 3 years, yeah. And so Lisa has an amazing story. And, she is somebody, and the biggest thing that I want to say as far as, hey, you want to make sure that you're taking notes because she has an amazing story. This is a lady who, and I'm going to have her tell her story, and I don't want to try to tell it for her because I really can't. But I want you to focus on something. There's a lot of people on the call who are new. And new to the business, or new to Touchstone, or new to maybe not new to Touchstone, been taking products, but new to the fact that, hey, we're going to build a team, and I'm gonna make that commitment. And so tonight's call, we're going to be talking about just that: persistence and commitment with Lisa Peterson. And let me tell you, Lisa's a lady who, when she started in this industry, she started from scratch, and she built an organic team. And the situation was she needed to go out and create an income. And she may tell you a little bit more about that, but she created a high multi-six-figure business, borderline seven-figure income with a company, the first company that she started working with, made that commitment, and then left that company for reasons that had nothing to do with her, and did it again, created another team with a company that the product line was totally different. She went from jewelry to skincare. Now think about that. So she created a very successful team, business, international company or business in a high six-figure income with a jewelry business. That company shut their doors. Found another company in the skincare line and built another wildly successful business, and started that company from scratch again. And then was looking at the nutrition business, and she and I met as she was, pursuing and looking, and she felt good about where she was, but just didn't feel like that was the last hurrah for her, or the home that she wanted to build. And they were talking about bringing on nutrition, a nutritional line. And so we met and we talked about it, and I told her about Touchstone, and she started using our products for about 10 or 11 months. And the reality of it is, when she started using our products, her passion and her goal for her business and her company was, she thought, okay, I'll recruit Alan to come on our team. And I had the same goal and passion, and I won. Well, I can't say I won, because we won. We won because I can tell you that she then switched from a skincare company that just started dabbling in nutrition and came on with us, a complete holistic whole food plant-based nutrition company, and started again from scratch. And here she is again, building this crazy successful business. And so, a lot of times in this industry, we see people and we go, they were lucky. They were lucky, or they got placed here, or they got this done for them. And we see it a lot in this industry, and it really gives the industry a bad name. But somebody who does it once, and then starts from scratch and organically builds it and does it again, and then decides that, hey, and I'll let her tell you why she decided to leave that company. That company is still successful and still a big company, and come with us. And now here she is doing it for a third time. That's way beyond luck. That is commitment, and it's persistence. And so Lisa Peterson is coming to us from California. And she's a Wisconsin girl, born and raised in Wisconsin. So you folks who are dealing with the cold, she gets that, and she understands that. But Lisa, thank you for coming on the call. And I really appreciate you coming on and sharing some wisdom with the folks. And if you would, just kind of, recap and tell a little bit more about your story.
Okay. Thanks, Alan. It's good to be here. And as I'm hearing you tell my story, I'm thinking, am I nuts or what? Like, you go build one business, then another. But in the big picture, it just shows that once you really get this business model in this industry and this passion for helping people in your blood, you're there. I mean, I've dabbled in a couple other things, and here I am back here, and thrilled to be back here. So I do want to share a little bit of my story, because The most important thing we have to share is our story. And you really don't know who it's going to resonate with. And when I first got into the industry, I was always a little bit, I'm going to be careful what I share because I might sound like I'm making it up. So I'm going to do a Reader's Digest of how this happened. Grew up in Wisconsin, lived there till about 15 years ago, was a stay-at-home mom at the time. Actually, my degree is in veterinary medicine, and I've been working in that for a lot of years. When one of my twins developed such severe allergies, I had to give that career up. So now I'm home raising the kids, being mom, and this is in 2003, I got a knock on the door and found out that my husband was living a life that I wasn't aware of, and that's all we'll say about that. And I found my world crashing down around me, income-wise, the whole bit, and I'm sitting there 40 years old with 3 kids thinking, I don't want to go back to my mom and say, can I move in? And nothing happens ironically or coincidentally. Literally 3 days later, I got invited to a jewelry party for one of those home-based businesses, and that stuff never works. But I went and I watched the old do this party, and I asked her how much money she made, and it was a significant amount of money, and in Wisconsin, that would go a long way. And I thought, okay, you guys, just so you know, at the time, I was afraid to speak in front of 3 people, much less a group of people. That was just who I was then. And I thought, I got to do this. I got to step out of my comfort zone because I've got to figure out a way to make money, and I got to figure out how to make it fast because now I'm the one that has to take care of my kids. So I jumped into it and started doing jewelry parties. Now you're hauling jewelry, and you have to sell a lot of jewelry to make big money. And they don't reorder every month. But it was fun. And I was speaking from my heart when I would be in front of people about what this could do. And I started making money. And I started realizing how I could help other people make money and change their lives. And I packed up my kids and I moved to California. I don't know what I was thinking to move to the most expensive state in the country when you're trying to build a business. But the point of that is I moved out here to start my life over. You guys, I knew nobody. I knew no one. And I got here and I thought, okay, here I've got this business where you count on your friends to do parties or you count on people you know to have a party. And so I just started, well, I stepped out of my box. I completely stepped out of my box. And I literally walked into the school that I enrolled my kids at and asked the ladies in the office to have a party. I just started talking to people and meeting people and putting myself in positions where I could meet people. And it grew and it grew and it grew. And 12 years in, with a life-changing experience for myself and my kids and so many other people on my team that we, really grew this, they closed their doors. So then I kind of searched, found the skincare company, not what I was looking for, but joined on there, built another huge team. And so much of that was because someone pointed out to me recently, Lisa, when you're passionate about something, you speak so from your heart and you're so real about it and you're not throwing up on people and you're not speaking from commission breath. It's truly because you're believing in it. And I guess that's the truth. Well, that company wasn't what I thought they were. As Alan said, Touchstone comes along. And I was a little bit, if he remembers right, my wall was up. Seriously, I'm going to do this all over again. So I took the products for a while and I got to know Eddie and I just played in the sandbox a little bit, dipped my toe in the water. And the more that I fell in love with products, the more I fell in love with the company and their belief and their ethics and their standards and the fact that this is what I have been. All that other journey I took to get here was to get here where we are now. So when I started over with Touchstone and really started kind of dabbling in it, I was a little bit under the radar and I had my reasons that I was just making the transition. And then when I decided, oh, this is it, I'm all in, I had to, I had to build my confidence up a little bit again because health and nutrition wasn't my comfort zone either. But the minute that I realized, hey, listen, earn as you learn, go out there. It's okay. You just need to get in front of people and show what we truly have. That whole passion came back again. And so now it's game on.
So I got to back up for a second here because we want to talk about persistence and commitment. So you find yourself a single mom and you start a business in Wisconsin. And then you get this wild, crazy hair idea to pack up and move to California where you know nobody. And hey, I'll just pack it up and go out there and do it again. So that takes courage, that takes commitment, that takes a little bit of craziness. But, when we're looking at the business, and so I just had somebody a week or so ago say to me, well, in my town, it's a small town. And I said, it doesn't matter where you are. You had to make the commitment to yourself and your family and your kids to be successful. So if you would kind of talk a little bit about what it takes, that persistence and that commitment on a monthly basis, because in this business, as you know, a new month starts again and we're building our income again on a monthly basis, on a weekly basis, and kind of a daily basis. How does that look to you? What commitment do you do, and how do you sort through, because you've still got a lot of responsibilities, sort through those responsibilities and the distractions and things like that to stay focused and committed to make this work?
Okay, I would be absolutely blowing smoke if I said, oh yeah, I've got this all under control and I stay on it and committed every day. It's always, I think, always a work in progress. And I make mistakes along the way, or I think, oh, I should have done that different, or I want to do this. But what I've committed myself to do, first of all, I think the big thing is everybody needs to have a why, and a why that really, really resonates with them. So you feel that passion and that commitment and that drive. Because if you don't have that why, it's easy to just get distracted and let other things get in the way. Your why will change. My why has changed a lot over the years. I still am a single mom. My kids are all grown, but financially responsible for me and however I can help my kids and grandkids. So I'm real driven by that. But my why has changed to where I want to make such an impact in other people's lives. And that's what's really helps keep me focused on a day-to-day basis. Every evening, because I have a lot to do too, and I have a lot of other responsibilities, every evening, I finally found out what worked for me. Before I'm done for the night, I sit down with my notebook and I make my list. And I don't make too long of a list because what I've learned is I feel much more like a loser if I don't get that through that list the next day, or if I make a shorter list and a more focused list. And what I've learned to do from Eat the Frog book is that person or that thing you keep putting off, because maybe call it your chicken list or the person you're afraid to reach out to, put that at the top of your list and don't even go to anything else the next day till you accomplish that. Because fear is the number one thing that'll hold us back. And I remember how afraid I was to move to California. I remember the nights I cried. But you got to figure out a way to get past that. And honestly, what's the worst thing? You hear this over and over, someone can say is no. It's like if you go to a restaurant and the waitress comes up and she says, can I get you some dessert? And you say no, thank you. Do you think she runs away with her feelings hurt because you didn't want dessert? I mean, you have to offer what we have here product-wise. I mean, and look at it this way of how to change lives. So I make my list. And it's, who do I want to reach out to the next day? I have a couple lists. One on business that I people to talk to about business. And then who do I want to reach out to, or what post or what group could I maybe get in front of and speak to and call and chat with them about speaking to them on product. And so I'm continually looking for opportunities, but every day I set aside time. And if you said how many hours, because if that's going to be your next question, every day varies. Some days I'll spend most of the day truly on the phone, making calls, whether it's three-way calls, whether it's really trying to focus on the team and reaching to new people. But my newer goal has been trying to reach out to 10 new people a day. I can tell you I haven't hit that every day, but on the days that I have hit it, I see a lot of momentum start to happen. So a big tip I'll say to you guys when you're making your goal list, keep it really attainable and don't make it too long, and make it things that you truly know you can get accomplished.
So you have a list of things you want to accomplish each day, and that kind of keeps you on track so you don't get sidetracked and
Yeah,
lost.
because it's easy to get sidetracked. We all do.
Yeah, yeah, that's powerful stuff. And so you mentioned a book called Eat the Frog. Is it a long book? Is it easy to read? Is it?
Easy read book. I'm into easy read books, you guys, because I got a lot to get done. So I don't
Yeah.
get, like I bought Alan the book,
How Not to Die.
How Not to Die. See? And I bought it and I opened the book to start to read it. And I thought, there is no way I'm ever going to get through this thing. Get it on Audible. So I pick easy read books, and Eat the Frog just really at that time resonated with me because I needed to be a little bit more focused.
Sure, I like that. I mean, I put that down. I'm gonna look that up. I haven't heard of that one. And for a lot of folks who are transitioning from another team, there's another book too that I might recommend called "Who Moved My Cheese."
That's the other one I was going to mention. Who Moved My Cheese?
Yeah,
I've had my cheese moved a few times, and it's all good.
there you go. There you go. So when you're focused on what you're doing, and so as leading a team, you know, you started out and it's been you. And then you get one team member and you get two. And so we've got a lot of people now who are growing and building and expanding and having these teams. Some of them have never managed teams before, and I hesitate to use the word managed.
Right.
But when you're working with a lot of people and teams, you know, nationally and internationally, what tips do you have, and what do you stay focused on yourself as you're inspiring and encouraging them to continue to build and grow?
Well, that changes too, because sometimes you get going and you're on a certain path and you think, oh gosh, I think we should be changing things up a bit. So what I started to do, I spent a lot of time on the phone with my key leaders. Now, maybe that's a bit unfair because in their downline, there could be a key leader. But the point is, if I'm working with them and really plugging into them, they then know how to plug into their team. One of the special things I love about Touchstone is we're all a team, and it's great if people on your downline or crossline or whatever want to reach out and talk and share ideas. We do that. I try to use a lot of time in my car to be on the phone with my team, and that way when I'm, I can use that idle time. It's rare that I'm just in the car, driving without plugging in. I do hold calls. I do a Zoom call on Monday nights. That's just our team connection call. And we keep it very open forum. And I do a team training call. So we've got a lot of stuff happening now with this momentum. And I think it's just really important. I encourage the three-way calls, and especially with my new people, because like I told one of my new gals yesterday, she just has got me a call scheduled for a couple days from now with two new people. I said, it's important you're on this with me, because now you're a leader. You're now a leader with with these two new team members, and I want you to hear how I speak, because it's going to help you moving forward. So, I try to encourage them. I try to keep them on pace, and I try to just really be there and be supportive.
So now you that's all great information to work with them and advise them. But you mentioned a minute ago that you're making these lists and you're contacting yourself 10 new people a day, and so that hasn't changed since you've got a large team.
No, that's really a great point. I just had a call with my team on Monday night, and we talked about, for those of you that have been in this industry, you're going to completely get this. It's a roller coaster ride. And we will go through the ebbs and flows just like our team members do. And I think it's important to be honest and be vulnerable. And if I'm not leading by example, they're not going to have, well, Lisa's not doing anything, so we're just going to sit back. My weakness, and Alan knows this because he's on me about it, is being more present on Facebook. But my strength is being really connected to my team, belly to belly on the phone. It's just what feels comfortable to me and where I feel it's my strong suit. But I do reach out to get new people. I'm excited to bring on new people. I'm excited to introduce them, and it gets my leaders excited and kind of just following. So we're learning together as we go through this. And I don't have all the answers, but I know if I'm not leading by example, how are they going to be successful?
Well, you're exactly right. And you said, that Facebook is your weakness. Well, I can tell you that if you're going to have a weakness, that's a good one to have, because, give me 10 people like yourself who, instead of being on Facebook, they're out there connecting with people and doing three-way calls and bringing on new people and spending their time doing with the invite, share, and connect. That's where the money's made, And so, so that's, that I don't consider that a weakness by any stretch, because you're doing what makes money. And that's what people need to understand is the activities that you do. And you and I were talking about this a couple of weeks ago, the daily activities that produce the most results. And a lot of people, I know you've been working on different teams and working with different people, and all of a sudden they sprout up. When you start working with new people, a lot of people, they'll come on board and they'll work for 30 days, 45 days, and they go, well, it didn't work, and they give up. So you just launched a new team recently in Utah. And so, I know that's a fledgling team, but when you start recruiting people, how long do you find that it takes to get them up and running to where you can go, hey, they're doing well, and they're gonna stay on the vine?
Wow, I don't know if I can really give a solid answer on that. I stay plugged in. I'm really plugged in the beginning, and you've got your team members that just, you see them take off and thrive, and you're connected with them on a different level, but they've got their team going. So you've got a different connection and communication. I've got that team in Utah will get my undivided and really plug in over there till I feel like we've got a leader that can really take it. But if I feel a weakness over there, I'm going to be in their presence, finding the person that wants to go. And everybody's different, because we all have different things that hit us in our life. And I know, sometimes we'll do the takeaway, or I'm real careful. And listen, this is why you and I work so well together, because men and women are different. So we have these conversations, and it's just the facts, everybody. I tend to be more nurturing and give people a longer benefit of the doubt. And if I see that they're struggling, I'll reach out to them a little more than maybe some of the guys I know. But that's who I am. And maybe someone that's a lost little bird will find their way back, and they're ready to go, and it's their timing. So I kind of just follow my gut on it. And sometimes I'm right, and sometimes maybe I've been loyal to a fault, but it really for me is just what feels right.
Well, I think, and I agree. And you can't argue with success. And when you've had success 3 different times, there's no luck involved. So there's got to be more than just a feel. There's got to be some skill involved in that. And I think kind of what I was leading to there is you're right. That's one of your strengths, in that it's going to take this group 3, 4, 5 months before they start showing real growth and momentum. And a lot of times people will give up on them in 3 to 4 weeks instead of 3 to 4 months.
Yeah, no, I plan on being back there every month if they need me back there, because there's so much excitement. And so they will see me, and I will be in there till I know that they're ready to go and fly on their own. Absolutely. And you're right, Alan, there's a lot of people that they want to come into a business like this and put in a little tiny bit of effort and expect great results. And we know that a little bit of effort will bring results, but a lot of effort will bring the great results. And when your team knows they can count on you and they can trust you, and you're there for them, that changes everything. That really does. Absolutely.
And then, and I've got two last points. We're getting okay on time. We're doing well. Is, we talk about you and I conversing back and forth, and so a lot of people will see someone like yourself who's had a close to 7-figure income, folks. That's $1 million a year for those of you who aren't good at math like me. Income in the business, but being coachable is so important. And I know that when you came over with us And when you're working with your teams, when you came over and started with Touchstone, kind of a different company, different field, but you were you were like a sponge. You were so coachable, and you really, we communicated multiple times every single day. And so what do you look for in your team, and how do you teach your team, even your leaders who you bring on from other companies? I know we've got, leaders on the call with us now who are on your team, who have been successful leaders in other companies. So what do you tell them about, hey, being coachable, and how do you work with them and as a coach?
Okay, well, I do have some leaders, and it's hard sometimes for people the industry as a whole is, you hear the same things over and over, and you kind of know that. But to really get people to get out of their own way, give up bad habits, maybe take another way of looking at things, to trust their gut. I think the toughest part, especially with some of my leaders that have come over, because it's a new industry for them, and because for those of us that have been from one company and then another company, and now maybe you're on your third company, you're nervous about people saying, okay, now what's she doing? And I know that held me back for a little bit, but I realized there's a lot of people out there that are more like this. Well, now what's she doing? Like, where's this going? And so I really try to help my leaders break that wall down and understand people are watching them and are excited, and just to do the activities. Go find new people then. I mean, even though in all fairness, with the second company that I left and came over to, I didn't go back and bring a whole team with me. I remember saying right to you and Eddie, pun unintended, I'm going to grow this organically. I'm going to go, and don't you go telling people what I've done in the past, because I just want to go grow this organically. And it's been really fun because it put me back to the challenge of when I first moved out here and I didn't know anybody. And so it's been good for me because it put me back into being right where everybody else is. We all start at the same level with the same tools and now the same fantastic CBD oil, and soon to come, all the exciting stuff. So I think that's probably the biggest thing when I'm coaching is we talk together, what's working, what's not working. Let's be honest. Let's talk about some new ideas. And then by the time we're off the phone, we're all like, whoa, gotta go, got calls to make. So.
Absolutely. Well, you've got an amazing team and a great group of people, and we're going to get to meet a lot of them out in Vegas or Henderson, Vegas. It's going to be exciting. So those of you who are on the call, if you haven't looked at coming to Vegas, I recommend that you do. It's going to be a great event. Lisa's going to be speaking out there as well on a different topic and training. And this is the caliber of people you're going to hear from, and be able to sit down and talk and pick her brain. And there'll be other people, several other people there the same way, that you can sit down with somebody, because, if you want to become a multi six-figure or seven-figure income earner, then you've got to mingle with and associate with those people who, we've been there before. We know how to do it. We know how to guide the ship. If you're going to go through a minefield, you want to follow somebody who's been there before. So you're getting an opportunity when you come to Vegas to be able to do that, to be able to interact with and work with those who have been there before and know how to get there, and just sit down with them on a one-on-one. And so, Lisa, the last thing I would like for you to just touch base with, as we're getting close to time, we've got another minute or two, is, we've got some brand new people on the call. We've got some brand new people that are just new with Touchstone, some people who are new in the industry, and some people who have been around for a while but have decided, it's time. So what one piece of advice would you give them moving into, with this amazing product, and moving into, March, April, May are 3 of the best months of the year to build a business? What advice would you leave them with?
Well, it's going to be more than one piece. So I got more than one piece. If you're brand new to the industry, understand it's a roller coaster ride. Understand we all are meeting the same fears and challenges. Some of us have been doing it longer, so we know how to get through them. You've got an incredible team of people to help you, but don't give up. We've got an opportunity right now, and you've got products. I've never had a product, especially since the launch of the CBD, to sample to someone and have immediate results. Just like that. I've never had this. And it was so exciting to watch that happen. So you've got to be sampling it. You've got to be sharing with people that this is, we're with this company. Have you heard of it? Are you trying CBD? Listen to what people are saying. Be a good listener, because it's amazing how you'll hear someone. I have one of my leaders on the call right now. She just signed with us. She bought her Advantage pack, hadn't even had our products yet. She's at Costco shopping with her husband the next day, and her husband hears two women talking about CBD. And he introduces them to his wife, and now one of them is an affiliate. Just be listening and sharing what we have, but don't give up. Most people don't find success because they don't stay in it long enough. They think it never works, when maybe it's just changing one thing you do by a little bit, and it'll open the door for you. So stay consistent. Please be sharing the products, and, don't give up. And if you really believe in it, it's just going to be a matter of time. Oh, one other thing. One other thing. Run your own race. Don't worry if somebody's building a team faster or feel intimidated by that. As a matter of fact, if you see that going on, find that person. Facebook friend them, reach out to Alan or myself and say, hey, can I chat with you about how you're doing it? But don't worry, because everybody has a different story and everybody's in a different place. And so just really be true to you and run your own race, because that will really hold you back if you get sidetracked by that. Okay, I'm done.
Great advice. Well, hey, listen, thank you. I appreciate it. That's some good advice. I've got a lot of notes here, and I'm definitely going to go out and get the book, Eat the Frog. It's not an Audible book, right? It's just something I can pick up and read, I'm sure.
Oh, no, I'll be on looking.
So I appreciate it. I appreciate your time, folks. I'm glad you're on the call with us tonight. We do these calls every single Wednesday night, and and always valuable information. Always picking up a pearl of wisdom. Always picking up a little tip here and there. And what you'll find about these calls is the leaders, just like Lisa. Lisa's on with us every single week, whether she's speaking or not. The leaders are on the calls. The leaders stay plugged in. The leaders go to events. In order to be a multi six-figure, high, seven-figure income earner, I've never met one of those people who didn't attend events and who didn't stay plugged in, because that's what it's all about, is staying plugged in, learning and interacting with those people that have what you want to have and are doing what you want to do. And here's the perfect example. Here's a lady who started out as a single mom in the business and has built 3 different companies, 3 different times, all very successful, packed up her family, moved away to a town she didn't even know anybody, and said, I'm going to do this. No matter what, I'm committed. That takes commitment. That takes persistence. And that's what this business is all about, that and a caring heart. And I can tell you that Lisa cares about her people. She stays plugged into them. She loves them. She loves on them. And she encourages them and inspires them every single day. And I think one of the best ways, if you heard what Lisa said, is that one of the best ways that she encourages and inspires people is she is a great leader who leads by example. She never asks them to do things. She's traveling. She's out there plugging in. She's going from California to New York to do events in Wisconsin. Doesn't mean that you have to travel right now when your team, permits that. But that's a commitment to your team and a commitment to your business and a commitment to yourself, and being persistent and really a true heart for the business is what it's all about. So I hope everybody picked up some pearls of wisdom tonight. Lisa, thank you again for coming on and sharing.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And for those of you, the people that weren't available, I'll get the recording. If you need the information on the Vegas event, we'd love to see you out there. There's still room for you to get registered and come. And I want to thank everybody for coming on the call tonight, and I hope you have a blessed evening. Good night, everybody.